and we're talking about Mad Max.
The toe cutter! He knows who I am! I am the Night Rider! I'm the chosen one! The minor hand of vengeance sent down to strike the iron roadworthy! I'm hotter than a rolling dice! Step right up, chum, and watch the kid lay down a rubber road right to freedom!
Be afraid, be very afraid.
Rock and roll.
On Triple J. We're talking all about Mad Max at the moment. Megan Spencer, hello, how are you?
The demise of the brilliant Vince Gill we just heard blow up in Mad Max as the Knight Rider. I actually worked with Vince Gill on a movie, my first movie I'd ever worked on, Body Melt. I was a runner and I had to drive Vince. I had the pleasure and privilege, the insane pleasure of driving Vince Gill all over Melbourne. So I just grilled him about Mad Max for most of it.
Have you ever worked with Vince Gill, Adrian Martin?
No, and maybe I'm glad that I haven't.
Oh, no, he was worth every second.
I'm sure he was.
The vermin have inherited the earth. Yes, we are talking about Mad Max 1 and 2 in particular, and Mad Max 3, Beyond Thunderdome, a little bit with Adrian Martin.
And why the hell not?
Yeah. Adrian, I just wanted to ask you before we get to our very eager and enthusiastic callers, given the success of the Mad Max trilogy and the fact that George Miller is about to start work, well, he's in pre-production on Mad Max 4 as well, why don't you think we've seen more action movies or genre movies like those films made in this country since that time?
This is a very good question, Megan. And, I think a lot of it has to do with how films sort of get made in this country and, with government money and basically everything depends on the script, on, what you can write on that page. And I was talking to someone who read the original script of Mad Max and he said that, it was, as a literary document, it was unreadable. It was just a description of shots, of explosions, of car movements and occasionally 2 lines of dialogue every 10 pages. And this did not look like a literary, theatrical type script. But, of course, they made the film and the film was great. But I think we lack that leap of faith to go with someone's ideas of what is a good film as opposed to what might read well on the page.
Could we go even further and say perhaps we lack film literacy in the places that actually make the decisions about what films are going to be funded here?
Yes. Look, I think there's a lot in that, Megan. I think there's generally in the Australian industry, people should watch a lot more movies. They should watch, a lot more art movies, a lot more B movies, a lot more exploitation movies. And I just think, not because I think people should do one thing or another, but because it's good for people to mix all these influences up, which is exactly what George Miller...
Because it's a big rainbow out there and we want to see all sorts of different films made here, yeah.
Mad Max is what we're talking about. Adrian Martin is our guest at the moment and he's written a book all about the Mad Max trilogy, and also Megan Spencer as well, and talking to you about your love or your hate for the films of Mad Max. And Bree is on the line in Melbourne. Hi Bree, how are you?
Hi guys, how you going?
Very well, thank you. Can you remember the first time you saw Mad Max?
Actually, to be honest, I've never seen the whole movie through. I actually used to own the house that it was actually filmed in, down in Areas Inlet in Victoria.
Really?
Yeah.
Was Anarchy one of the locations now near in Geelong for part of Mad Max as well?
As far as I was...
Oh, you're cutting out there, Bree?
We've lost Bree.
Are you there, Bree? We'll try and put on hold and
the
come
toe
back to
cutter's got her.
That's right.
Watch out.
We're going to talk, though, it's amazing how much Mad Max has influenced car culture. If you do an internet search on Google, you just see so many references to Mad Max and V8 engines and just people just buying cars that look just like them. Is that something that's familiar for you? Hello?
Yes.
Hello? Is that Lawrence? How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Can you remember the first time you saw Mad Max?
I was a bright-eyed kid watching it on the Brunswick Street cinema.
Wow.
For the first time.
And were you influenced directly by the film or the cars in Mad Max? Is that something that's significant for you?
Well, it concreted my interest in cars. My father had one of the coupes before Mad Max ever came out, and that was just like seeing this thing on the screen after sort of being a part of one for so long as a child. It was like a caricature of the car coming to life.
The Interceptors.
I'm actually part of an online car club at the moment that has English, American and Australian members. Some of the majority of the members have Australian Falcon coupes. There are actually a couple of movie car replicas as well, ranging from the four-door yellow cars through to the Interceptor itself.
So there's an amazingly significant amount of people that have been influenced by cars from the Mad Max film. Thanks very much for your call, Lawrence. Also talking about cars. Cars are really significant, Adrian. Why is that?
Well, I mean, Australians live in them, and the Mad Max movies really know that. I mean, one of the inspirations for the film was that, George Miller, he was a doctor, and he used to, work in an emergency ward where he would see, road casualties every night. And in a way, the Mad Max film was born as a sort of a nightmare out of that experience.
And a paean, in a sense, to the suburbs and the car culture of the suburbs.
And the whole mythos of escaping from the suburbs,
in your car, you hit the road, yeah.
So on the line we've also got Philip in Tweed Heads. Hi Philip, how are you?
I'm okay.
Now we're going to ask you the first question, which is, of course, can you remember the first time you saw Mad Max and what did it feel like?
Actually not exactly, because I first saw it on TV in the 80s, and then I'd seen it shortly after the Cars at 8 Paris, so that really influenced my reaction to it.
For better or worse?
For better.
Okay.
So do you believe that there was a direct influence on a specific game, or is it a computer game, or is it
Well, there was a game called Car Wars, which was brought out in the States, and that was basically people in cars shooting each other up, and the style, particularly with the artwork, reflected quite clearly the influence of Mad Max. It had also been translated into a computer game as well.
And, of course, there was a documentary a couple of years ago about a bunch of guys in search of a Mad Max car. And, of course, the name has escaped me. But, it wasn't the greatest doc I'd ever seen, but it was, it was about fanatics, about car fanatics, and you can't really go past that, I don't reckon.
Thanks very much for your call, Philip. And we're just going to have a chat now to Natasha in Brisbane. Hi, Natasha, how are you?
All right, thank you.
So do you remember the first time you saw Mad Max?
I saw the third one first.
Oh, goodness. I'm lucky you saw the last two then.
So how come you saw the third one first? Was it just because you got that one out of the video store?
Well, that was my age at the time.
And what did you reckon?
I liked the third one, and I didn't like the first one.
What about the second one?
I never saw it.
Okay, so you've bookended with a big gap in between.
That's right, so I'm still wondering what was it all about.
What did you like about the third one? Because I guess that one is the most reviled, isn't it, Adrian? People don't like it as much as the first two.
Yeah, and I agree with that opinion. I'm not as crazy about the third one as the first two.
So what did you like about the third one?
Probably the special effects, Tina Turner in it.
You can't go past Tina Turner. I mean, she's great.
What's the song? We don't need another... No, don't sing it. We're not sticking our minds.
I was going to play it so I could get everybody in the nation to start singing it with me.
Oh, no. It's a rugby song now anyway, isn't it?
Did you go and get your hair done like Tina Turner, Natasha?
No.
Oh, come on.
She did relish the role, didn't she?
Oh,
She
yeah,
loved it.
She loved every second of it.
Adrian,
Thanks for your call, Natasha.
You assert in your book that Mad Max 3 Beyond Thunderdome is actually an art movie.
Yeah, it is.
Tell
I
us.
mean, I only realised this watching it, again to write the book. I mean, it's a film that, the plot really never gets going, and Max keeps dreamily drifting from one strange landscape to another. It's like a Tarkovsky film. It really is.
It's around in circles. Art movie.
and plotlessness and dreaminess.
Right.
They're definitely.
Now, before we head off into the beautiful Mad Max wilderness, two things need to be said. First of all, Adrian Martin launched his book, The Mad Max Movies, last week in Sydney, and out of the blue came along 5 cast members that you didn't know of. You knew that Steve Bisley, aka Goose, was going to be there. One of those 5 cast members was Hugh Keys-Byrne, who, of course, played Toe Cutter in Mad Max. And what did he do when he got up on stage?
Did he
give you a big hug?
No, there was the bear hug going on there.
That's gorgeous.
And we had Roger Ward, we had Tim Burns, we had a whole lot of guys. Oh, it was fantastic, and they had such great stories to tell about the mayhem of the first Mad Max film, and really, in some ways, it was like an amateur movie, but my God, it came together well.
Hugh Keys-Byrne, he was so Shakespearean and over the top in the first one.
See the guy with the big chest and the
stripe in his hair.
Yes,
and
thank you very
all
much.
the good lines. And number 2, I must mention Scott Goodings, our TV freak boy, used to take a Kundalini wants his hand back banner to the football and hang it over the fence. I reckon that rocks. And I reckon that cements, that sort of story cements Mad Max in our Australian culture.
So you can go out and also read all about it. Adrian Martin's written this book. It is simply called Mad Max Movies, the Mad Max Movies, I should say. It's part of a series called Australian Screen Classics. I think it's the second in the series.
Yes.
And it's out now through Currency Press. Thank you very much, Adrian Martin, for coming by.
Thank you, Fenella.
And best of luck with the rest of your Mad Max watching.
And one last thing from me. You want to get out of here? You talk to me. See ya.
Triple J.